If you're a man over 60, chances are you've heard the words prostate biopsy tossed around in doctors' offices, health articles, or maybe in conversations with friends. Maybe you've sat in a chair across from a physician, heart thumping, as you discuss your PSA numbers or the results of a routine exam. It's a moment that can feel heavy, loaded with questions. What's next? Is a biopsy safe? How accurate is it? I've spent decades as a urologist guiding men through these very moments, through anxiety, uncertainty, and, above all, the hope for clarity. Today, I want to talk to you about the transformational journey of prostate biopsies, how they've evolved, what you can expect, and why understanding these advancements is crucial for every man. Let's start by acknowledging a simple truth. Diagnosing prostate cancer is not a straightforward process. Even in this age of medical marvels, it still relies on one foundational step: obtaining a tissue sample, or what we call a prostate biopsy. As of early 2025, despite leaps in technology, this remains the gold standard, the cornerstone of making a definitive diagnosis. Over the years, the way we approach, perform, and interpret biopsies has changed dramatically. But if you're facing this journey, you deserve clarity and reassurance about what lies ahead. Let's rewind the clock 15 years. Back then, the landscape was starkly different. There were no MRI scans offering a crystal-clear window into the prostate's landscape. No PSMA PET scans mapping out potential threats with pinpoint precision. We had two basic tools: the PSA blood test and the physical prostate exam. If either showed abnormalities, a PSA number that edged higher than normal, or a suspicious lump on exam, the next step was almost always a biopsy. But here's what most men didn't know. That biopsy was, in many ways, a shot in the dark. The procedure, known as a transrectal ultrasound-guided biopsy, was done with limited information. The prostate itself is tucked away, deep in the pelvis, nestled between the pelvic floor and the bladder, shaped like a donut with the urethra running through its center. Most cancers arise in the outer shell, and while a physical exam lets us feel part of that shell, we're blind to the front and sides. So when we performed a biopsy, we were sampling tissue based on statistical likelihood, not direct visual evidence. Imagine sitting in a sterile office, local anesthetic numbing the area, an ultrasound probe inserted through the rectum to provide a basic image. The physician would guide the needle, taking samples from 6 different regions called sextant biopsies, hoping that one of those might catch a hidden cancer. It was, frankly, a guessing game, and if the result came back negative, you were left wondering, was the cancer missed, or was there simply no cancer to find? Now, this approach carried another risk, one that could haunt men after the procedure. Since the needle passed through the bowel to reach the prostate, infection was a real concern. Statistics suggested an infection rate of about 2%, but in clinical reality, it could climb as high as 6 to 7%. That meant every biopsy carried a not insignificant risk of fever, chills, or worse, sometimes requiring hospitalization and intravenous antibiotics. It was a trade-off, and for many men, the anxiety lingered long after the procedure. But the world of prostate biopsies didn't stand still. In places like Australia, the UK, and even some centers in North America, a new technique began to take hold: the transperineal biopsy. Instead of passing the needle through the rectum, we now enter through the skin between the scrotum and anus, a region called the perineum. This approach, adopted widely in Australia since around 2010, has proven to be a game changer. The risk of infection, once a looming shadow, dropped to near zero. In my own experience over the past 15 years, I haven't seen a single infection from a transperineal biopsy. There is, of course, a trade-off. In Australia and the UK, biopsies are almost always done under general anesthesia in a hospital setting, meaning you're asleep, comfortable, and unaware of the procedure. In North America, many biopsies are still performed in the urologist's office under local anesthesia, with the patient awake. Both approaches have their merits, But for peace of mind and safety, the move toward transperineal biopsies has been a major leap forward. Now, let's talk about the revolution that truly changed the game: imaging. Around 2012, multi-parametric MRI scans burst onto the scene. Suddenly, we weren't just guessing where a cancer might be hiding, we could see it. These scans provide a detailed map of the prostate, highlighting suspicious areas, estimating risk, and guiding us directly to the lesions that matter. In Australia, these scans are now reimbursed for men who meet certain criteria, making them accessible and routine. This advancement led to a new era of targeted biopsies. Instead of random sampling, we could home in on suspicious regions, increasing accuracy and reducing the number of unnecessary procedures. Enter cognitive fusion, a technique where the urologist mentally overlays the MRI map onto real-time ultrasound images during the biopsy. With the aid of advanced software, we can fuse these images, guiding the needle with unprecedented precision. The result? Fewer missed cancers, fewer negative biopsies, and a vastly improved diagnostic process. But it doesn't stop there. The technology continues to evolve. In many clinics, including my own, we use MRI ultrasound fusion platforms, specialized tools that digitally overlay the MRI scan onto the live ultrasound image. This allows us to navigate the prostate's complex anatomy, targeting even the smallest, most elusive lesions. Every step, from imaging to sampling, is designed to maximize accuracy, minimize discomfort, and ensure that you get the answers you need. Now, let's pause and talk about the emotional toll. If you're watching this, you might be feeling anxious, uncertain, or even fearful. That's normal. The thought of a biopsy, of needles, anesthesia, and potential complications can be daunting. For many men, the word cancer itself is enough to trigger a cascade of worries about family, longevity, and quality of life. I've sat with thousands of men as they grapple with these feelings. I've heard their stories, their hopes, and their fears. But here's what I want you to remember. Every advancement in prostate biopsy technology is designed with one goal in mind: to protect you, to give you the best chance of early detection, the least risk of harm, and the most accurate answers. If you're facing a biopsy, you're not alone. You're part of a community of men who have walked this path, leaned on their families, and come through stronger and wiser. It's also important to know that, despite all these improvements, no test is perfect. PSA levels can fluctuate for reasons unrelated to cancer: exercise, infection, even recent ejaculation. MRIs, though powerful, can sometimes miss small lesions. Even biopsies, with all their precision, have a margin of error. That's why your journey doesn't end with a single test. It's a process, guided by your physician, your history, and your values. So, what does all this mean for you today? It means that if your doctor recommends a biopsy, you can ask informed questions. What type of biopsy will you have? Transrectal or transperineal? Will you have access to MRI-guided technology? What are the risks, and how can they be minimized? It means you can take an active role in your health, armed with knowledge, and advocate for the safest, most effective care. Let's summarize the key points. The cornerstone of prostate cancer diagnosis is the biopsy, obtaining a tissue sample to confirm the presence or absence of disease. Historically, biopsies were performed blindly, using transrectal ultrasound guidance, with significant risk of infection and missed cancers. Transperineal biopsies, now common in Australia and the UK, offer a safer alternative with dramatically lower infection rates. Multiparametric MRI scans, introduced in the last decade, allow for targeted biopsies, reducing random sampling and increasing accuracy. Image fusion technology, cognitive and digital, enables precise targeting of suspicious lesions, improving diagnostic reliability. No test is perfect. The process involves ongoing communication, shared decision-making, and emotional support. Every advancement is about one thing: better care for men, better outcomes, and peace of mind. If you're a man over 60, or you care about someone who is, I urge you, stay informed. Ask questions. Don't settle for outdated methods. The world of prostate biopsy is changing rapidly, and you deserve the very best that modern medicine has to offer. I know this journey can be overwhelming. You may feel alone, anxious, or simply uncertain about what's ahead. But knowledge is power and community is strength. If you've had a biopsy, if you have a story to share, or if you have questions, please leave a comment below. Your experience could help another man navigate his own path. Remember, your health is your legacy. Staying proactive, seeking information, and supporting each other is the most powerful thing we can do. If you found value in this discussion, if you learned something new, felt reassured, or now feel ready to ask your doctor the right questions, please subscribe to our channel. Like this video, share it with friends or family who might benefit, and join our growing community of men committed to their health. Together, we can face these challenges with knowledge, resilience, and hope. Thank you for being here, for caring, and for taking the first step toward a healthier future. Subscribe, comment, and share. Your voice matters, and your story could be the light that guides someone else through the journey.